You are listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. On today's episode, hosts Stephen and Mariah will discuss how to draw the attention of Gen Z students and use that in a school's recruitment strategy. Today's episode is sponsored by York School. Since 1959, York School has created an award-winning college prep experience for our youth, inspiring them to develop intellectual curiosity, challenging them to create and try new things, and preparing them to be passionate contributors in college and in life. Thanks for listening.
Cambridge Insider Podcast time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. As always, my co-host, Mariah Thompson. How are you?
I am doing well. Officially sweater weather here in New York, so even better.
Are you? I think I've asked you this before. Are you a fall person?
Yeah, I mean, I love summer, but fall here in upstate New York is like an experience, so it's hard not to love it. So
excellent. I see it as the death of summer, but that's a topic for a completely different episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited because today we get to address one of our very first listener requests, which is awesome. I think part of why we do the Cambridge Insider Podcast is to make sure that our listeners are, given up-to-date information, that they can make decisions about their educational future and just stay informed on what's happening in the market. So we, Mariah, and you know this because you and I have discussed this, but for everybody else listening, we, got a request from one of our listeners who wanted to explore and wanted a little bit more information about digital marketing and how that translates into targeting Gen Z specifically. I think the question arose, there wasn't much more detail than that, but arose from the fact that, through CEM, Cambridge Enhanced Marketing, that is really a big part of our target audience is students and students looking for international education options, specifically in the United States. And we've been successful, with Cambridge Enhanced Marketing in targeting that Gen Z audience or that Gen Z generation. So we thought for today's episode, we could delve a little bit deeper into what we do at CEM with our digital marketing approach and also sort of relay that back using a case study from one of our schools that has been successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Gen Z right now is like the hottest topic that almost like every platform and every demographic of like work between education to even just normal sales and retail, people are like, how are we targeting this generation? What do they want to see? Because they are a new breed in the best possible way, the new breed though, because I think they're going to be like raising up strong leaders and resilient leaders out of this because they've gone through a lot, just gone through doing education within a pandemic. And then they also are like one of the first generations that are fully media born generation. So they were born right into social media, right into the internet, right into Google. They don't know life without it. So it's definitely a different breed, which makes it really unique for us in marketing and sales because we're used to targeting people like us. Now we have to think like someone who is a Gen Zer, which is really cool to understand. I also do some volunteer work, working with a lot of Gen Z students. So it's been really interesting to see their perspective, get some ideas for them, what they like, and then also just partake in their social media world just to see what that's like. So taking a little bit of professional advice from a Gen Z because they're who we're targeting, right? So yeah, the number one thing for Gen Z and get their attention is for you to just be completely real. They want to see live action things happening. They don't want this like cookie cutter commercial all the time, which can be nice to get some explanation, but they would rather have some random person with like the camera in front of them just talking about their experience other than like this huge set production in a school doing all these things. The Gen Z student would have really liked just to hear the testimonial of a person. So yeah, it's different.
All right. I mean, I've just got a million questions, but I'm going to keep this very focused because I am very much in the dark when it comes to Gen Z, and they are a million light years ahead of me on the social media stuff and the digital stuff. I want to stop us there because it's so interesting that you say that, because a big part of what we've done through CEM, Cambridge Enhanced Marketing, has been that live, authentic, unedited experience. Be that through our live events, which are focused on, live campus, live campus walkthroughs, live student and host family and natural parent testimonials, live interviews and panels with teachers and directors of different departments. So we're certainly hitting the right notes there. The other part of the live experience that we've done, I think, really, really well with Cambridge Enhanced Marketing, and we've done a couple of events like this for our case study, which is York School in California, for those of you that are wondering. And just on that, Mariah can drop the little video on York School as part of our show notes for you to get a little more information about that. But the other thing that we've done with the live experience is many of our social media campaigns have student testimonials, student experiences that are very much I have my phone, I'm going to do a 1-minute video to tell you how I felt about a certain thing, and in our case specifically, a certain school program.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, because obviously I'm on the other end of marketing. I'm not on the CEM side of marketing, what they're producing, to see our team, how they're really utilizing social media in the best way possible for that targeted audience, especially in Southeast Asia. They cater it to specifically really hit the Gen Z audience. But it also is really recognizable that they're also targeting to the parents who are not Gen Z. So for the international market, it's a little unique type of customer. You really want to sell the school to the student because that's where they're going to attend. But you also need to sell the school to the parent because that's who's providing the financial support for the student. So it's a really good balance of both, of providing this real authentic view for the student, but then also providing all the facts, all the statistics right there for the parent in the way that's what the culture would like. So they like all the information right there. So on that social media post on WeChat, there's a combination of both, that raw moment, and then all the facts that the parents want to see as well. So it's a really good use.
I love it. And it plays into, so I had a conversation, a couple of weeks ago with this school, and we spoke a little bit about, number one, having access to social media and different digital platforms in Southeast Asia is essential. If you don't have access to them, you really cannot brand your school, and you're really not going to be able to market and recruit students. Secondly is having the expertise to understanding where to pitch your message, not just taking information and putting it on a platform and going, why are people not listening to it? But exactly to your point there, being able to get the raw, authentic experience, but then also pitch the right message to often the decision maker. They want to see the stats. They want to have a look at the matriculation data. They want 1 or 2 bits and facts and figures that are going to help them make a decision as well. And again, I think that's something that we've done really, really well. I'm going to just, as an example, go back to the case study for York, but a big part of our York open house that we did, and it's an excellent open house that, our team coordinated, and we got several, applicants and inquiries and ultimately enrollments off the back of that event. But a big part of that was the authentic experience, which I spoke to previously. A big part of it was also sort of structured. And here are a couple of slides that are simply going to be translated for you so that you can see in a snapshot what are the most important things. So I love that. So we've gone through real experience, really, really important, but also number 2, almost on the flip side of that, understanding that there's almost a secondary audience that has an impact on the Gen Z decision. Yeah. All right, Mariah, what next? How else do we, keep these guys engaged?
To keep them engaged is to make them feel like they are a part of the experience as well. Gen Z are really going to be the new game changers of the world. It's like in their DNA at this point that they have a voice because they grew up on social media. So they're posting all day about themselves, what about they're doing. So they're already gaining traction that they have a voice. So in your marketing, you want to give them the ability to shine their voice. So whatever your school is doing, show them that they have opportunity to grow and to learn and to give themselves a platform and a good learning experience. So that is definitely another great tool to market in those Gen Zers, because they really do have a voice and they want to use it.
So a question for you on that. When we are doing events, when we are doing social media campaigns, highlighting specific Gen Z oriented clubs, societies, extracurriculars, is that the type of thing that would resonate well with that audience?
Yeah, so right now, something that we're doing with our Cambridge students, so Cambridge Network, we have a student develop committee through Cambridge Care, and we have a student council. And those students are learning how to become leaders. They're learning marketing tools, but then they're also attending these live events that we're hosting for marketing for schools, explaining what they are doing, what they're learning in their schools, how their experience within the schools have been. So we're basically giving students a voice to go to talk to other students that are already doing it. They're learning great skills, they're learning communication, they're learning marketing, and then they're just growing their own sense of voice. So it's teaching the students by using them, and then we also get to use them for marketing as well. So it's like win-win.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Any sort of, and I want to stay mindful of time here for the listeners, but any sort of, a final couple ideas on this audience, specifically on our digital side and how we are catering towards them?
It's okay to feel nervous because it's a new generation, but it's okay to feel excited, because once you have a Gen Zer on your team or in the communication with, they really are for you too. They are really great team players. So don't be afraid to go bold with them, because they're ready just as well to go bold for anything. So of course we're talking about marketing, but like in any type of situation, whether it's at your school or if you're trying to figure out your Gen Z kid too, include them in your things. They love it. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And it's amazing you say that, because every time we do a social media campaign, for our CEM schools, every time we do a live event, we want to get students involved as much as we can. And I've never seen a generation or experienced a generation that's been so willing to just dive headfirst into it and really take it and make it their own, which I think, hats off to them. That's incredible. I think to your earlier point, that's going to really raise a generation of exciting people, exciting leaders, exciting entrepreneurs. But that also really, really makes a lot of the social media stuff that we're doing, a lot of the digital stuff that we're doing, exciting and authentic.
Yeah.
Again, going back to another earlier point of yours, making sure that it's not that cookie cutter, we've edited this and here it is, and look at it and it's great and it's exactly 2 minutes. It's this interactive experience where we're not 100% sure what could happen next, but we know that it's authentic. We know that it's real. We know that when a student comes on this platform and they talk about how wonderful their experience is, that's an authentic experience that they had, which is just awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Mariah, any final thoughts just on this? I love this topic. I'm excited. You can tell I'm like talking at a different tempo.
Yeah, no, I could talk about it all day. I guess the final thought is community. It including them will build community. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what we want to do. Getting away from the just the marketing side of things, your program success really hinges oftentimes on the type of community you can build. And when you get these students involved, when they are a part of your recruitment and your marketing process, and they're getting those applicants through the door, that's going to build and add to that community that you talk about. So what we're going to do for all of our listeners specifically is just post a great little video that Mariah compiled for us about York School. They're in California, Monterey, California, and they've just seen incredible results because of Cambridge Enhanced Marketing, but also because of their willingness to work, with our team, but also our team's expertise, making sure that we're pitching the right message to Gen Zers. That school saw, I believe it's 110% increase in their number of applicants. I think upwards of a 300% increase in the number of enrollments. So they've just been an incredible partner. We continue to work really closely with them. And the idea of digital marketing and pitching to the right audience, specifically that Gen Z audience, I think is encapsulated really well in that, in that case study. So Mariah, I'll make sure to put that in the show notes.
Yes.
Mariah, I love this topic, and I appreciate our listeners dropping us a line and getting us talking about this, because that's what it's all about. It's about making sure we can provide them with information that's useful to them. Any final thoughts from your side?
Just keep asking questions. We love the interaction with you guys. So drop a question for us. We'll love to go over it in a podcast.
Absolutely. To all of our listeners, we appreciate you, as Mariah said. Drop us a question. Remember to like, listen, subscribe, share the podcast. People want to know this information, and we'll catch you around the next episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. For more Cambridge updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Have a great week and stay connected.